Imagine a country blessed with breathtaking landscapes, rich in natural resources, and teeming with biodiversity. This is the Philippines, a nation with immense potential. Yet, despite these extraordinary gifts, the Philippines faces a perplexing dilemma. Its economy struggles more than those of its less resource-rich neighbors and peers around the globe. How can a land so abundantly endowed with wealth find itself grappling with economic hardship? This is the great paradox of the Philippines, a story of contrasts that captivates and confounds. Stay with us as we delve into the factors behind this puzzling situation and uncover the forces at play in this nation of both riches and challenges. In Southeast Asia, a region encompassing 11 countries, lies a stark contrast in economic status. On one end of the spectrum stands Singapore, hailed as one of the wealthiest nations globally. However, neighboring countries like the Philippines grapple with poverty, despite having once harbored the potential for prosperity comparable to Singapore. Delving into Philippine history offers insights into this disparity. Notably, during the presidency of Diosdado Macapagal nearly 6 decades ago, the Philippine peso held a formidable position, almost equaling the US dollar. However, subsequent economic shifts, notably during the Marcos regime, saw the peso's value plummet, never fully recovering since. Today, the exchange rate stands at approximately 56 pesos per dollar, indicative of the country's stagnant progress. Singapore's GDP and GDP per capita. Evaluating a nation's wealth typically involves assessing its GDP per capita, where higher figures denote greater prosperity. Singapore reigns supreme in Asia, boasting a staggering GDP per capita of around $91,000. But what exactly is GDP? It refers to the total value of goods and services produced within a country in a year. When divided by the population, it provides a glimpse into individual spending power. Singapore's economic prowess and relatively small population contribute to its remarkable GDP per capita. While not every resident spends $91,000 annually, the average expenditure remains significantly high, reflecting the nation's robust economy and affluent society. This combination of economic strength and population size distinguishes Singapore as a beacon of prosperity in Southeast Asia. Philippines, Thailand, and Indonesia GDP and GDP per capita. Certainly, the economic gulf between the Philippines and its neighbors, like Indonesia and Thailand, becomes glaringly apparent when considering GDP per capita. While Singapore may set an ambitious benchmark with its $91,000 GDP per capita, a more modest comparison reveals the Philippines lagging behind at around $4,017. Indonesia and Thailand, with GDP per capita figures of $5,051 and $7,073 respectively, share similar economic landscapes with the Philippines. Endowed with abundant natural resources and comparable geographical advantages, one would expect parity in their economic trajectories. However, the Philippines remains mired in poverty despite these favorable conditions, prompting deeper scrutiny into its underlying challenges. Difference between Singapore and Philippines' economic path. Drawing parallels between the Philippines and Singapore unveils a shared legacy of colonialism and subsequent struggles for independence. Both nations grappled with the lingering scars of colonization, hindering their post-independence development trajectories. However, while Singapore thrived under visionary leadership, notably Lee Kuan Yew, the Philippines faced persistent challenges stemming from governance issues, corruption, and entrenched political dynasties. Lee Kuan Yew's resolute stance against corruption stands as a testament to Singapore's success story. Establishing the Corrupt Practices Investigation Bureau, CPIB, his administration waged a relentless war against corruption, fostering a culture of transparency and accountability. In contrast, the Philippines continues to wrestle with endemic corruption, ranking disappointingly low in global corruption indices. As of 2023, the Philippines languishes at 115th place out of 180 countries in the corruption rankings, signaling a pressing need for systemic reforms. Unless governance issues and corruption are effectively addressed, the Philippines may struggle to harness its full potential and elevate its status on the global stage. Singapore's success story extends beyond its anti-corruption efforts to encompass its meritocratic system, a cornerstone of its governance established under Lee Kuan Yew's administration. Unlike in the Philippines, where anyone can vie for public office regardless of qualifications, Singapore's system prioritizes meritocracy. This means that only individuals with outstanding educational backgrounds and unblemished records are considered for leadership positions. Philippines' biggest problem. However, the absence of a meritocratic system in the Philippines perpetuates a cycle of poor governance. Here, individuals with dubious credentials and histories of corruption can run for office, undermining the country's development prospects. While democratic principles afford equal opportunity, unchecked candidacy leads to supple leadership and perpetuates poverty. The prevalence of celebrity candidates and entrenched political dynasties exacerbates the issue. Historical election data in the Philippines reveals a propensity for voting based on fame rather than merit. This inclination, coupled with the perpetuation of political dynasties from the highest echelons of power to local barangay officials, hampers progress and perpetuates inequality. In some provinces, political clans have maintained control for generations, consolidating wealth and influence. These dynasties wield immense power, with many of the country's wealthiest individuals stemming from such familial lineages. Solution to economic crisis in the Philippines. Addressing these systemic issues is paramount to lifting the Philippines out of poverty. With abundant natural resources, coastal access, tourism potential, and a skilled workforce, the Philippines possesses the ingredients for prosperity. Yet, these opportunities remain untapped due to governance shortcomings. Realizing the dream of good governance hinges on raising awareness among Filipinos and prioritizing education. A robust education system is essential for fostering an informed electorate capable of discerning worthy leaders. Unfortunately, the Philippines lags in educational attainment, with students ranking poorly in global assessments and a significant portion lacking access to schooling. Ultimately, bridging the gap between aspiration and reality requires concerted efforts to instill good governance principles and enhance educational opportunities. Only then can the Philippines unlock its full potential and transition towards a brighter future. Indeed, the lack of access to quality education exacerbates the vulnerability of Filipinos to the manipulations of corrupt politicians and entrenched political dynasties. Education plays a pivotal role in empowering individuals to discern truth from propaganda and demand accountability from their leaders. By equipping all Filipinos with access to robust education, the nation can cultivate a populace that understands the importance of good governance and values integrity in public service. This shift in mindset will raise the bar for selecting government officials, fostering a culture of meritocracy and transparency. It's essential to recognize that the challenges facing the Philippines are not unique, as corruption and governance issues plague many developing nations worldwide. However, a common thread among prosperous countries is their prioritization of education as a catalyst for progress. Investing in education lays the foundation for socio-economic development and fosters a knowledgeable and skilled workforce capable of driving innovation and growth. Therefore, if the Philippines follows suit and prioritizes education, it can pave the way for a brighter future and emerge as a leading economy in Southeast Asia.